Greetings, this is the Timeshare Traveler. Today is episode 136. California timeshares for weekend getaways. Well, it's anyway, actually, it's any location, but I happen to live in California, so I'm using California as the example. And what I'm going to talk about today is weekend getaways, a way to use timeshares. So many people are working full time. I'm actually starting my real estate career, so I'm working full time now. And I look at the weekend getaways as self rewards when I can make them work. And what I did is something I suggest you do when you're trying to figure out what, buy a timeshare is map out all the locations. So I've done this for California. I've done Hilton, and I included a little bit of Lake Tahoe, which is on the Nevada side. But I did Marriott. And then I did Worldmark. I've created separate maps, and I'll walk you through those. And then I'll give you examples of what I've got planned for this year as far as my weekend getaways, and others are going to come up later, but I'll just give you what I've set up so far. With that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my channel, then I'll be right back to talk about the details. Hang in there. Hi, this is Cliff, and I'm the Timeshare Traveler. Welcome to my channel. The purpose of my channel is to educate those who love traveling in timeshares. I've been an owner for 15 plus years at timeshare ownership. I have elite ownership with Marriott, Hilton, and Worldmark. I have published over 100 timeshare video reviews, and I've published over 95 timeshare tips. I can be found on Facebook at Timeshare Trav, at Twitter, Timeshare Trav, and on the web at www.timesharetraveler.com. Okay, now I'm going to talk about how weekend getaways are a way to use timeshares. Most people are actually working a full-time job, and that's what I'm doing as well now. And not everybody can work remote. I have a little more flexibility as a real estate agent. But so the goal here is when you're looking at buying timeshares or looking to use your timeshares, pick locations that are close to your home. And again, short 2-3 day getaways is a great use of a timeshare. And I plan them ahead. 9 months out, often, or more even sometimes. And if I realize my schedule's not going to work, I can cancel them and, kind of have a rolling set of them going. And I think that's pretty exciting for me. And I've really enjoyed doing that. When I first started out, that's what I did a lot of it. What I've done in this video is I've created a separate group, separate graphs for locations in Hilton, Marriott, and Worldmark, which is the three I own in California where I live. But again, the reason for that is this is a great example for me, but you should do that for yourself. Ones you're looking at, you can get the maps online. You can find the locations at the websites to do that, and you just go to the resorts and pick out the resort maps, and you can go from there. The other reason I Worldmark and Hilton have the most in the area is I love Hawaii. So that's one of the things I've done as well. So that's one of the reasons I picked more Worldmark and Hilton, because they have the most locations. Okay, weekend getaways are great self-rewards. So one of the things I did when I bought timeshares is I was working really hard, and I still work hard. And it's not that hasn't changed. I worked hard to get my video blog going as well. But I just like to do that. But I think you need to have rewards to sort of offset that to, why are you working so hard? It's nice to love your job and stuff, but it's great to have rewards. And again, I reward myself for good work so that I continue to motivate myself. And the great family get-togethers, everyone gets a break from the routine, and I love spending time with my adult children. Sometimes that's the easiest way to do that. It doesn't always work out, but that's what I shoot for. And they motivate me. I really having that opportunity is really, I come back to work refreshed. And it's also a chance to get, actually I add to my bucket list when I think about, where could I go? What's there? And I sort of end up adding to do that. And I book ahead so I can coordinate with others to join me, or I go on my own. It doesn't matter. But it's always kind of fun. So now you can see the map here of California with Hilton, and the little blue dots are the locations. You can see the list of the locations. So there's one in San Francisco. There's a couple in Lake Tahoe. So it looks like one dot, but if I expanded it out, you'd see a couple. And then kind of mid-California, there's two there. They're right next to each other. So that works. And then you've got a large grouping there in the San Diego, south of LA, north of San Diego, Carlsbad, and there's actually several there that are kind of look like one. And you can stop the video and zoom in on the list of them, and you can see where they all are. But it's quite an extensive list. So this is again one of the reasons I invested more heavily in Hilton, and it's actually one of the reasons Diamond International was that purchase was really mattered a lot to me. So there you go. There's an example, and you could choose to do this map for yourself if you're considering buying timeshares. Do the Hilton, Worldmark, or Wyndham and Marriott maps. So Marriott has some of the locations, actually some San Diego, some south of LA, a little bit in Palm Springs area. So it's similar to Hilton, not quite as much as one in San Francisco and a couple in, again, it has the Tahoe area, so I included that. So it's a little more sparse than Hilton, specifically after the purchase of Diamond International. There's actually, I think, 3 in that sort of mid-range of California. So not quite as many, but there are still some. So it's not a bad choice, just not as extensive as the Hilton network since they purchased Diamond International. Well, interesting enough, again, here's the map of the Worldmark locations. That includes the Club Wyndham ones as well, because I can book into those as well. And you can see, look at all the dots. There's one in Reno, a couple in Tahoe. There's some in Northern California in the wine country, even down in Napa itself, which I'll be staying in actually starting today. And then there's a couple in the mountains, as well as there's several, one in Monterey and several down the coast, a bunch in San Diego and LA area as well, right next to Disneyland. So I started with Worldmark as the first one where I sort of jumped. I started with Marriott and Hilton with just enough for Hawaii, but for sort of the local travel, I really started with Worldmark and I built that up. And I only really recently added Hilton as a result of the Diamond International because it became much more of a local thing that I could do. So there you have it. There's a list of Worldmark. And again, these are my examples because I live in California, but you can do the same thing for yourself. Look at what you can do for those getaways because it's a big advantage to be able to use them, not just for vacations, but also for getaways. Anyway, there you go. Okay, well, here we are. What have I got planned so far? And there are more in the works. My birthday, I've got scheduled in Northern California near the wineries. I've got 4th of July in Lake Tahoe. Pretty excited about that. Got Christmas scheduled for the whole family in San Diego. I have a fall trip to Hawaii, which is more of the traditional vacation. I have trips scheduled to Southern California as well. And I'm going to Timeshares. There's several dance events that I go to. I'm a West Coast swing dancer. I haven't been doing it much with the pandemic, but I'm starting back up. But there are dance events in the Bay Area or in Southern California, and there are timeshares close by. And so I'll just stay there instead of spending the money to stay in the hotel. I'll use my timeshares, which is I'll be able to cook and save a bunch of money that way as well. Anyway, that's the video. But I really, one of the things that should be, maybe you constantly think of timeshares as like only for vacations, but actually you can use them for short-term trips, and it's a good use of your timeshares and a fun thing to have a full featured facility. Hope you like it. Do a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.